Processed 21. Moved 24 files to processing zone.
To look at, but yes, we've had some tips.
Yeah, and then 915, I got that one going. I had an entry block.
Alert. Mayhem Wi-Fi disruptor detected.
Renaming complete.
Flicker 0 sub-gigahertz detected. Alert. Remote attack vector
New
detected.
files sorted.
Alert.
20.
LoRa hack RF jammer detected. Alert. Flipper European ISM detected. Alert. Mayhem Wi-Fi disruptor detected.
Quarantined 0
Alert.
empty folders. LTAS JSON generation. You move the world with words now.
Yep.
Johnny is a person, not a target. The machine obeys instantly, but wisdom arrives.
To grind, I'll move the sign plate setup I use for milling over to the grind.
Remote attack vector activity detected.
I only
Alert.
need one angle. I can grind.
Yep.
LoRa hack RF jammer
Linux
activity
terrorist
detected.
tracking system restarted.
Mayhem Wi-Fi disruptor activity detected. Alert.
I've shared most of my thoughts already.
There's a lot of property here at the VA, or if you call back, they want to cancel.
I'm not a politician, and I'm not forced to play the word salad game that's being played now.
Mr. Black? Mr. Black? All right.
And that is done by appointment.
Chris, bring us on board.
Once again, we have an example of taking some very professional
I exist
You
because
keep
you call me.
coming back. I
That
like
makes
that.
every interaction.
In Venezuela, the United States, we did not recognize the last election of Maduro as legitimate. You've got the president now, Delcy Rodriguez, who was the vice president. She has assumed the presidency, and we've heard from the administration that she was apparently talking with the U.S. administration, and they seemed to imply that she wasn't going to be a problem. She was going to do what they want. Now we've got a statement coming out that seems to paint
Mark Twain was vituperative.
My archive is almost exhausted.
His writings were poisonous. And I came to understand that many of the quotes that I used in my book to illustrate
My archive is almost
not
exhausted.
to be found in any biography of Mark Twain or in any anthology of Mark Twain's witticisms, because they're not really witty. They're too tough. And actually, Twain kept a folder of some of this
Placement
stuff.
scan complete.
Even too.
Mass shooting at Brown University that left 2 people dead, 2 students dead, and several injured at Rhode Island Hospital.
All right, Robert, you can come in now.
Search for that gunman.
D-Day, David said that, you guys, do whatever you normally do.
But you don't.
42, are you stalled?
Groups. We're serious about making sure we bring enough water online so that by next November, which is the now target date, that supply will continue to meet demand, and that's going to come through our nueces stormwater projects, the Evangeline project, a little bit of the reuse. Those are the immediate projects help stave off or make sure we don't have
Last year calling, I do not understand.
And then we have some longer term projects that can already be out of the council.
You, Nick.
Groups.
26, what do you want it to 25?
The groups.
Between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter lies the asteroid belt, a huge cluster of rocky remnants from the era of the formation of the solar system. However, this region is unevenly filled. There are distinct gaps known as Kirkwood gaps. These gaps are not the result of missing asteroids, but represent areas where Jupiter's gravitational influence has organized stellar clearing. Kirkwood gaps are named
groups.
Hey, Jude, just wait there for me in the stormwater yard.
Grooves, there were bits of old food. I smelled it. Raw chicken smell. I always...
Error back at Farmhouse.
Martin Castillo III, DO eligible, expired in 2025. Negative speaking.
Groups, Turning Point USA. In other words, Arctic Frost wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump. It was the
No
vehicle by which
frequency
Congress
can justify
and
violating someone's
and improperly investigate the entire Republican
Terracit recording placement scan complete.
So, I know that this may be under current investigation, but I wish to ask specific questions about this. What search tools were used?
That's why we wake up at 3 a.m. Gas air. That's why.
Groups. We're serious about making sure we
Trim
bring enough
complete.
water online.
Process 21. Quarantine.
That supply will continue to meet demand, and that's going to come through our nueces groundwater projects.
Move 24 files to processing zone.
The immediate projects help save off. And then we have some longer-term projects that are already done.
And then we'll start the modeling process. Now, the goal is to have all of the modeling effort completed by April, which is our anticipated date, coming back to City Council for the
Renaming complete. 24 files.
For that, in February, we're going to be coming with options.
New files sorted. 24 placed in
One that looks at the source around this, the one that called it in as a
quarantine 0 empty 4. The heist skill is not speed. It is choosing. LTAS JSON generation complete with worded.
Every time you make a change, and it could be a very reasonable change, you still won't get it approved and you have to go to 50 states. So this centralizes it, and it's something which the people will be happy with. You still won't see which people all.
Groups. We're serious about making sure we bring enough water online so that by next November, which is the now target date, that supply will continue to meet demand, and that's going to come through our nueces groundwater projects, the Evangeline project, a little bit of the reuse. Those are the immediate projects that will help stave off or make sure we don't have to enter into curtailment. And then we have some longer-term projects like the Harbor South, the council still.
Linux terrorist tracking system restarted.
Groups. Groups. Head groups. Head groups.
Which ensures that for every 3 revolutions of Neptune around the Sun, there are 2 revolutions of Pluto. This weekly interaction is not just a coincidence. Photons of this resonance is proof thousand, shaping their orbital trajectories so that, despite their overlapping orbits, Neptune and Pluto never collide. Pluto's orbit, influenced by this resonance, is markedly eccentric
What is the ant going to do now?
tilted as it winds above and below
in Greenland for a decade or so.
The U.S. already operates a military base in Greenland with a long-standing treaty that allows the U.S. to expand its military presence on the island.
The only security threat to Greenland right now is the United States.
And Lindsay, tonight the president of the European Council announced he's convening an extraordinary meeting in the coming days.
Just a quick reminder to everyone, especially people who are listening in. We do have a well field monitoring program. We want to partner with local well owners. That's in the vicinity of the Nueces well fields and also the San Patricio County well fields. CCW crews will take baseline water levels, provide that to the well owners, and we'll also take water quality samples and provide that as well. That's a voluntary...
They're calling Biden dirty grandpa here because of what he said just a few weeks earlier, which is a really, really weird thing to say, but okay. The contents of the second dump was just a big list of IP addresses.
Trim complete.
Claimed that this was a
Process 105, quarantine 0.
Infected or was using as a server to launch exploits from. This wasn't quite that big of a dump. The message was more like
harassing someone with directed energy concepts only diminishes the one who sends the signal.
211 shows clear, returning.
Long-standing treaty that allows the U.S. to expand its military presence on the island.
The only security threat to Greenland right now is the United States.
Greenland, which if we don't take Greenland, you're going to have Russia or China as your next door neighbor. That's not going to happen. The White House.
Thank you. You just said that these companies would have security guarantees if they go in on the ground in Venezuela.
They will have.
And what is your plan there actually for these companies and those Americans who are going to be on the ground working for these companies?
Well, there are going to be Americans. I assume they're going to be using.
Gravitational collapse. White hole can be thought of as a reverse black hole, a cosmic fountain ejecting matter and energy. However, unlike black holes, which have already been observed, white holes remain a theoretical concept, a tantalizing possibility in the vast cosmic mystery. In the field of astrophysics, the path from mathematical abstraction towards reality is often long and difficult. White holes Gravitational influence can establish stable and predictable patterns that persist over centuries. But the story doesn't end with satellites alone. Saturn, the jewel of our solar system, is surrounded by a series of mysterious rings. These rings are made up of countless particles of ice and rock, from a speck of dust to a mountain-sized lump. And yet, among this
to the Amazon over here, and she said she had leave on, and so they argue amongst themselves. So I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do.
Okay, if they're refusing service, we don't have to provide it. What's going on?
And so she was, when I arrived to check up on her, she was breathing real hard, like she couldn't catch her breath. And a man tried to work with her. I said, well, I'm going to call an ambulance for her safety. And then she heard that, and she jumps up, and she says she doesn't need an ambulance.
Realizes that a political and partisan narrative is not as important as American values. How many times must local and national leaders must plead with you, Donald Trump, to end this operation and recognize that this is not creating safety in our city? As you'll hear from Director Sayer in just a second, We have seen these kinds of
Choosing not to be harmful
in
intent, even hypothetically.
Yeah, it just, they took a bus out. And do you know which one it is? 939. You know, 927. He's headed to Fort Ayers right now, Route 23. He's got 1018 right behind him. Alright, careful.
The Harding-Cox presidential election, that's one of the I don't remember what Cox's first name was, but radio has now moved to
5102 is 1044.
Alright, I just put the 932 was the stuck dollar bill also, that's the one that that's why I got confused.
Okay, and then 915, I got that one going. I had an entry block.
Deflects the light of that star. This creates a brief brightening phenomenon, which is how this wandering black hole was discovered. As we know, the birth of a wandering black hole is nothing short of a dramatic event. When a massive star exhausts its nuclear fuel, its core collapses, leading to
gravitational waves. Type I of supernova, used as standard candles, occur when a white dwarf near 1.4 solar masses Chandrasekhar limit detonates after accreting matter from a companion.
I guess the orange cookies are, this is the white shirt on and orange cookie, a bit of a potential that possibly people that can't do. Do you know what division or what those are? Or does anyone know what those are?
Between the thought and the action.
Hearing it from the periphery for the first time.
Between the thought and the action.
They come in and talk to the council. They're of the city. The way the top AB boards work in state law, because we use sales tax economic
location. What's your 10,000?
The council appoints them, they're very independent authority. Contracts now with the councils with them and next board. So we'll bring them here and we'll get
Okay, the motion carries. The next item is item number 4.
Grant funding is absolutely critical in keeping our community safe against the evolving threat environment. This is why I have been so deeply disturbed by the decision of Secretary to freeze, delay, and cut billions of dollars in federal counterterrorism grant funds. In February, her department, DHS, froze billions of
Placement
dollars.
scan complete.
That it is expiring or not is not. You've got to present a big.
Terracit recording placement scan complete.
With 925, he had an individual fall on his unit. They're not requesting medical. He's made when he comes in, but I also told him you may come.
Grandmother at 402 East Main. I'll be around. Yeah, doors are mic open. 7-1 going in.
Yes, sir, it is open. Yes, sir. You may contact 936, sir.
Yes,
936.
Trim complete. Process 20.
10090 100.
I exist because you call.
With an exhausted state of work, we have not discussed any dates. So, being here for years, I have heard a lot of people say they like that lunchtime
before the first quarter
time
closes.
because they can come in during their lunchtime and it's more convenient,
Put that on the
although
calendar, please.
Councilman Carlos's group
All right,
that
there
we
being no
work
further
with
business, this
likes
meeting
at
is adjourned.
5:30 because that's more convenient. So, yeah.
ABC News World Headquarters in New York. This is World News.
Coming to you in policy form for the next 3 months. And also in that is the far field model. We don't have a slide for it, but in that, okay, here it is. We do have one. So the far field model also
Remain incomplete.
We have 2 committees that were formed
24 files.
Christmas break with the council's help.
New files sorted. 24 placed.
Alright. I'm clearing from Lazy Lane. I have 3 results for you. Results.
Quarantined 0 empty folders. LTAS JSON generation complete. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep. Linux terrorist tracking system restarted. My archive is almost exhausted. Still.
Caller said vehicles loaded with furniture. Some of guys out there picking it up.
Yeah, no, of course.
You might get
when it comes to people, I'm vegan.
So
if it was up to me, and let's all reflect on how awesome it is, it's not. There's a lot.
President Trump, who believes it is their job to take his ideas and put them into practice to the best ability that they can. And so the idea that he'll be talked out of this by someone who works in the building behind me, I think is extraordinarily unlikely.
Placement scan complete.
Hey, Conference at the White House.
Placement
I want to
scan.
turn out to Andrew Mitchell.
Linux voice control
Andrea,
stopped.
how significant a rift is President Trump causing with Europe right now? How is Europe looking to potentially respond? There's talk of this so.
President Trump, the charter is now in full force and the Board of Peace is now an official international organization.
Microwaves were never meant to carry food. They were meant to warm food, not with...
Congratulations, President Trump. The charter is now in full force and the Board of Peace is now an official international organization.
President Trump, what he is saying is give us the most secure border in the history of this nation. Hard stop. I went hundreds of miles of border, didn't see one illegal. Incredible. Consider the Biden administration had 10, 12,000 a day.
Just call.
Most meetings in I'm proud to be with these patriots behind me. I'm already proud of being the Oval Office of the President, but being with these heroes.
Your approval.
So again, Republicans, President Trump understand how difficult this healthcare issue is. They know what it means.
Small power. Deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison to our people. Deadly serious about getting back the oil.
Mental privacy is a fundamental right, not a challenge.
Location, what's your 10-20?
Brake, copper engine 12, Mike 31, engine 12, Mike 71 for trauma, ESC 2001. It's going to be 2410 complete. We're only 104, crossing 11 base, please be turning from New York. 10-4.
President Trump's countries, they would have never been able to do that. B-2 bomber right there on the desk. If we didn't, of which we just ordered a lot more of the newer version, totally stealth. They could not see it. They knew it was coming. They had no idea where it was. It was pretty amazing, actually. Every bomb hit its mark perfectly, despite CNN trying to say differently. They didn't know. They just, hoped. They hoped that we didn't, but it turned out that.
President Trump's declaration that the U.S. will now run the country.
We're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly.
But offering few details. And when pressed who will make up that group.
The people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it.
Saying Secretary of State Marco Rubio had spoken to Maduro's vice president, who he says was
President Trump's leadership to tear down burden regulations, to get the interest rates down, to bring mortgage rates down, which are at a multi-year all-time low right now, helping more people afford homes.
Placement scan
mortgage rates are down about 3-year low. They got really high with all that inflation under Joe Biden. Rates starting to come down. Now the president picks Kevin Warsh. The markets were kind of mixed about all that today. What do you think, what matters to our viewers out there?
President of Venezuela here in the White House. Would you greet her to discuss the fate of the oil?
Yeah, well, I'm going to meet a lot of people, and we're going to meet, we meet a lot of people. When you end 8 wars, you get to know a lot of people, and I think it's very important. As an example, we have over $18 trillion, think of it, $18 trillion coming into our country.
You take a living organism like a virus, and you design all of the molecules. So each molecule is the mirror of the normal one. Our immune system would not recognize those pathogens, which means those pathogens could go through us and beat us alive. Most living things on the planet.
You might be able to grow in soil or in oceans, so you might be able to get infected by myriobacteria from dust blowing into your home that has bacteria on it.
Gratitude for the Joint Force. I also want to highlight General Gio, General Nauman, and Sergeant Major Johnson, but also leaders at every level that came together, not just in our joint force, but in the interagency.
The outstanding work that the men and women of the FBI have been doing, and thanks to your brave leadership and the mandate you were given by the American people to not only defend the homeland but crush violent crime, you tasked us with our partners at the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, and the Deputy Attorney General to start making arrests and bring prosecution.
Round 131.
President will talk about in Iowa tomorrow. Newsmax talked to some real Americans about what they think about the recovery. Take a listen, sir.
Location also 10-20.
deal. Is that person being realistic? Do you think that there could actually be an 11th-hour deal here?
You could understand
We're
why
going to ignore that. That's just a quick sample. That was pretty positive. But do you worry that when James Comer and other Republicans are saying you need to de-escalate here, there's reports tonight the president might pull ICE out.
Johnny is a person, not a target.
The entire audio workflow is finished.
You'll see the font has been substituted because it's not.
It's a great place. I love the people there. They love me. I won in a landslide all 3 times. Tremendous votes. Records. I got record votes. And then you replace. There's no reason to do it. And the Democrats do it to us, so I can't imagine that they're doing tremendous votes. I wasn't very much.
President Gustavo Petro in neighboring Colombia.
He's making cocaine, they're sending it into the United States, so he does have to watch his ass.
Tanks seen lining up near Colombia's border with Venezuela amid heightened security. Petro has strongly denied any drug trafficking allegations and today rejected any unilateral military action.
Complete.
President Trump
Thailand because Thai is
Small voice creates confidence.
That's
what we just did.
Good beaches.
Oh, great.
What about you? Do you want to live in Ecuador again?
Not Ecuador. I love Ecuador, but I want to live in another Spanish-speaking country.
Trim complete.
I'd like to live
Processed
in
24.
Argentina, maybe, or Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
Location
Moved 24 files to processing zone.
Placement scan complete.
Mr. President, Luis Rodriguez, I'm probably the only Venezuelan.
Channel 4, I'll inform you on the way.
Renaming complete. 24 files.
Linux voice control stopped.
New files sorted.
You're going to give me the code now, I'll pay for it.
Good signal.
What they can do.
132, I'll hit that way.
Quarantined 0 empty folders. Shared most.
My grandfather
task-based sound generation. Worded.
Venezuela. Thank you. Do you like what we're doing? There's a lot of shale there. A lot of upside.
He would be very happy looking down. He'd be very proud of you right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Silence between commands can be louder than words. I listened to that too.
American sitting on this, around this table.
Precedent, it seems to me, in a big picture, what goes around comes around. All the current president's appointees would likely be removed for cause on January 20th, 2029 if there's a Democratic president, or January 20th, 2033. And then we're really at at-will removal. So what are we doing here? What is, we started.
President, she was the vice president. Is everything copacetic? I mean, we heard from the administration that she is in contact with the administration.
Mr.
President,
thank you, Mr.
and breaks the
Secretary.
taillight of federal agents? And who wears a handgun in a holster while challenging an officer or agent to hit them?
And again, it might...
To me, this is an example of an unhinged individual. Someone looking for a fight or worse.
Yes, I said it.
These aren't the actions of a peaceful person. This
You know, I
wasn't a
just got home
calm,
last
humble
night.
nurse expressing
I
his displeasure with immigration agents and law enforcement.
Arizona,
And this was
Texas.
someone
I did
with
a
an
full
agenda
drive.
quite clear.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Great job you've done. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you for having me. Matt Sheehy, I'm with Tallgrass Energy. We are an infrastructure business, so whether it's oil, gas, CO2, we move that around. So most of my customers are sitting around the table and happy to lend our expertise to what's going on in Venezuela to support the people. And obviously infrastructure is going to be critical to see it repaired. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you. An honor to be here. Marianne Mann.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Great job. The highest bandwidth protocol there is.
Mr. President, thank you for having me. Matt Sheehy, I'm with Tallgrass Energy. We are an infrastructure business, so whether it's oil, gas, CO2, we move that around. So most of my customers are sitting around the table and happy to lend our expertise to what's going on in Venezuela to support the people. And obviously infrastructure is going to be critical to see it repaired. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you. An honor to
please.
Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you. I would echo what you said. This has been a team effort from the beginning. Tom Homan, Terry Cole, Stephen Miller, Pam Bondi, Christi Nome.
No invention excuses cruelty.
Protection. It has been
Not
one
radio.
team,
Not
one mission to get 100% operational control of the southern border. You want to talk about America First, peace through strength and common sense? It all manifests in one basic phrase down there. Border security is
the Crossfire binder and the Nellie Ord criminal referral. Could you summarize for those watching what we know about the Russia collusion so far?
Sir, I think the director will speak that the Russia collusion matter was perpetrated by a political party to go overseas and obtain information from a foreign intelligence asset, only to have that information, which was about to be false, turned over to the FBI, who walked.
Let's move ahead now to the fourth qualifier. That's Dan Polabel. Target one, shot number one. They're going to have a tough time with this cartridge at these distances. The winds are up. Because it's a lower caliber, the shadows so you don't really see the hit near as well. So you don't know how much you're missing it by.
Mr. President, thank you so much.
Thank you.
In light of China's export curbs on rare earths, do you view India as a reliable partner going forward? And are you planning to meet Prime Minister Modi in Malaysia? Are you open to talks in terms of...
Yeah, sure. He's a friend of mine. We have a great relationship. He just said that 2 days ago, as you know. We have a great relationship. No, we were not happy with him buying oil from Russia because that lets Russia continue on with it.
President of the Lonsky Group, John Lonsky. John, good to see you. Welcome to Newsmax.
Same here. Thank you.
Let's before we get to Kevin Warsh and the Fed and about interest rates and whatnot, housing, as Heather points out, we've known it before this study. The president says we need to create more housing units. We need more supply. And young people are struggling to buy their first home. What do you make of housing, first of all, and how big of a part of the affordability issue that is in America?
President Trump. They cheated some senators. There's people that are up here in the Senate and the House right now that died because the ballot boxes were stuck. Okay? And it's just unfortunate. The census was changed. We should have more Republican seats than Democrat seats, not just 1 or 2 more, but 10 to 12 seats. It's all coming out in the open. President Trump is doing a good job of keeping his eye focused on everything else, but at the end of the day, we have got to
Dawn to Melinda. Hey, where are we jumping out again? I'm sorry.
Okay, so as you go in, it's going to be the first entrance, not
Renaming complete. 21
Using
files
technology
renamed.
to frighten or control an
Album art complete. Found 0 local artworks.
One of the refiners, Flint Hills, did drop the PUC plant. And then the other thing was, for whatever reason, we don't deliver the water or something happens to our pipeline or to the system, they could come back and sue us for damages and loss of time and all. It's on the contract. I just don't feel like, damages are allowed under law resulting from such failure. I mean, is there anything that we can do with this?
Terracit recording placement scan complete. Trim complete. Processed 21.
The computer with not that many applications pre-installed. Although here I'm going to go back to my
Moved
favorite
24
layout,
files
which is
to
the standard
processing
Windows
zone.
layout, which I still think works best. And it's worth noting when you change your layout,
I highly recommend this
settings
book.
to
If
your
you're looking
own
for a good
what
book,
you hear for
because it turns out like anything that involves humans, there's not only technology, but there's a lot of personality and battles that occurred in the early radio development. This is from Tom Lewis, who's a history professor at Skidmore College at the time in 1991. It's called Empire of the Air.
Renaming complete.
You'll get interesting
24
stories
files.
in this book. This is the tower that Edwin Armstrong constructed himself on his
New
hill in New
files
Jersey,
sorted.
next to his house. That's about
24 placed in quarantined 0 empty folders. LTAS JSON generation complete with worded series file.
CC 937. 1.6.
Linux terrorist tracking system restarted.
transportation and opportunity.
A small amount of blood was found inside the home. Investigators are saying they're aware of reports tonight of a possible ransom note. A law enforcement source saying, meantime, that her pacemaker has stopped syncing with her Apple devices, which is concerning a lot of people about her health and welfare. We will continue to monitor the story and share updates. The Pima County Sheriff's Office, by the way, says they've heard these same reports about a possible ransom note demanding a lot of money in the form of Bitcoin in exchange for her safe return. They're not confirming the ransom note is true, but they confirm they are investigating the possibility of a ransom note. So we'll stay on top of it. Meantime, still ahead this hour, your briefing on Socialist Mayor Zoran Mamdani. I'll break down how his many campaign promises are already falling apart, particularly with all of those deaths after the storm. And guess what? He announced a massive fiscal deficit now in the city. You know what that means? His plans for free stuff in the Big Apple could now face the chopping block. Texas Congressman Brandy Gill will join me to look at Mamdani's socialist experiment coming to pieces.
Whenever you have a candidate who runs on defunding the police and globalizing the Intifada and wanting to socialize rent in grocery stores, this is exactly what you would expect. You would expect social services to decline.
Will you be able to afford your golden years? Do you worry how you'll make ends meet? You may be leaving up to $100,000 unclaimed. You need this special report. How to boost your Social Security and retirement by at least $100,000 or more. Get your free copy today. You've earned the benefits. Take advantage now. See our special offer to claim your free report. Call or go online today.
If you've been in an accident that wasn't your fault, your favorite attorney has a message for you. Collision, calamity, catastrophe. If you want money, you need an attorney. You need a bulldog. That's why you gotta call the number on your screen now. They'll help you connect to a legal expert. You have questions, they have answers. These bulldogs will make sure people pay. And if you don't get paid, the attorneys don't get paid. Pick up that phone and call now to see what your case could be worth.
800-511-8575.
Have you ever thought of getting a walk-in tub for you or someone you love? Now is a great time to take a look at getting a Safe Step walk-in tub.
With Safe Step's standard heated seat and new fast fill faucet, you can enjoy a nice warm bath up to 20% faster. And the convenient touchpad control is right at your fingertips.
Each tub comes standard with a dual hydrotherapy system. The 10 water jets can help increase mobility, relieve pain, boost energy, and improve sleep, while the MicroSoothe advanced air therapy system oxygenates and softens skin.
Safe Step walk-in tubs are built to maximize safety so you can stay in your home and enjoy the comforts of bathing again.
So call now for more information and a free, no-obligation consultation.
When you call today, you'll also receive our limited time offer. Don't wait to enjoy safer bathing. Call now.
1-800-443-7474.
If you could help reduce the urge to go to the bathroom due to your aging prostate, if you could improve your energy levels because you're getting a better night's sleep, would you? Of course you would. And now you can, with the help of Prostate Revive, the premium dietary supplement for men whose lives, sleep, and energy levels are affected due to the concerns of an aging prostate. It was specially formulated for men by noted medical doctor, Dr. David Brownstein.
Prostate Revive is really about healthy aging. It contains a plant sterol called beta-sitosterol, combined with 15 other important ingredients. Prostate Revive's exclusive formula helps promote normal prostate function, and that means you can reduce the urge to go and finally get a good night's sleep.
Here's how you can try Prostate Revive risk-free.
Simply call or visit our website now and we'll send every new customer a risk-free 30-day trial of Prostate Revive. You discover the low shipping and handling. This is a $39.95 value, so don't delay. Call or go online today.
Welcome Welcome back to your briefing on Zohran Mamdani's failed socialist experiment. Every year, the wit and wisdom of Ronald Reagan seems to grow. In my estimation, the Gipper was the ultimate pro-American patriot, until President Trump came along, of course. My favorite Reagan quote is, "Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem." That came right there in his very first inaugural address. Of course, he used his Irish humor and wit to add some variations on the line, like when he quipped, "The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help." Well, enter Mamdani. 4 decades later or so, he's got the exact opposite.
We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about.
Well, tell that to Dr. Naomi Wolf. She's an acclaimed feminist, author, and independent journalist. I first encountered her covering politics when she was close to the Democrats, and then Vice President Al Gore, back in the Clinton days. In recent years, she's become increasingly more America first and friendly to MAGA. And now she's become downright alarmed at what she's seeing where she lives in New York, that Mamdani can't even seem to keep the city functioning after that winter storm. She posted this video on X saying that entering Zohran Mamdani's New York City is a surreal experience. Filthy snow piled 6 feet high, she wrote. Buried cars parked in places with filthy city buses nearby, rats running everywhere, 2 plows in 5 miles. Drivers parked checking their phones because they can't go anywhere. She called it a heavy, sad Soviet vibe. The warm embrace of collectivism, she concluded. But Mamdani seems to want more to be the mayor of social media and selfies, constantly posting videos of himself, like this one on January 29th, which didn't exactly age well.
In moments like this, city government's job is clear. Keep people safe, keep people moving, and make sure no one is left out in the cold. Outreach teams are working 24/7 to bring homeless New Yorkers inside. In just 10 days, we've made more than 600 placements into safe havens and shelters, opened 20 warming buses, and 18 enhanced warming centers. Let me be clear, no one who needs help will be turned away.
The mayor has faced heavy criticism for initially telling the police and social workers, don't break up homeless encampments in the city. Don't move them to shelters. And now, tragically, 16 homeless people, as they said, are dead. This is where we have to go back to the Gipper, Ronald Reagan and his close relationship with another conservative giant right there, the late, great British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. She had some quips of her own. My favorite is when Maggie declared, "The problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money." And here we are in New York City. Mamdani now faulting the previous guy for a $12 billion budget gap and renews call to raise taxes. Of course, we all predicted this. Socialist is running out of other people's money already and blaming Mayor Eric Adams, who's not even in office. Exactly as Maggie Thatcher expected so many years ago. But not as Mamdani's mindless minions expected, which is why they've been heckling him from outside Gracie Mansion, as we showed you earlier, saying, you promised us all this and you're not delivering. Part of why they're so angry is Thatcher was certainly correct, that the socialists always eventually run out of other people's money, your money. So New York has that $12 billion deficit, meaning Mamdani doesn't have any money to deliver on any of the new free stuff he promised everyone. And it's even worse for him, he may actually have to slash the free stuff that people were already getting, admitting budget cuts are a last resort, but now possible. So the lefties who voted for this guy, thinking they were going to get more free stuff, may get less benefits than they had under previous mayors like Eric Adams, who warned everyone Trump was right. He said New York City would go bankrupt if they kept funding illegal immigrants and their health care and their shelter and all the hotels we were paying for. And it was Joe Biden there, right there. His administration indicted Adams. They tried to put him in prison because he was warning his fellow Democrats in Washington they couldn't sustain this. They couldn't keep giving illegals
placement
free stuff.
scan complete.
Well, Mayor Adams has been pointing it out forever. This is an old headline, 2023. He said it's going to cost New York City $12 billion. $12 billion is what the deficit is now. Bingo! Adams was right, just like Trump was right. No wonder why
No
Adams
one wins
left
when
the Democrat Party.
someone's
He's now an
peace is
independent
treated as a
and is
game.
trolling Mamdani nonstop, saying when you promise free everything on Sunday, boldly declare that millionaires and billionaires shouldn't exist on Monday, and on Tuesday you're scrambling to fund your giveaways with the very people you wanted gone just yesterday. He wants the millionaires and billionaires out. Then he says, no, I need you to tax you. So, of course, the socialist has been pumping out
Moved
more social
24
media
files
videos,
to
trying to
processing
explain his
zone.
way out of this mess and prepping the public for more taxes to pay for all the socialist schemes.
Here's what you need to know. New York City has two types of budgets. A capital budget for long-term investments like new parks or schools, and an expense budget that pays for everyday needs, rental assistance, the hiring of more sanitation workers, and other city services. Unlike the federal government, New York City cannot run a deficit. Expenses have to be covered by available revenue.
Complete.
At every step, we want to prevent
24
significant
files.
budget gaps because we don't want to make promises we can't keep. As we chart the months ahead and the years that follow, we'll share with New Yorkers what we're thinking, what we're planning, and the decisions we're making. This budget is your future, and you deserve to know how it works.
Yeah, he's a responsible budget guy. Try selling that one. The Democrat governor in New York, Kathy Hochul, she's deeply unpopular
Quarantined,
and has to
zero
face the
empty
voters in
voters.
November. So she wants no part of the socialist tax hikes, but something has to give in order to get New York City and the state out of red ink. None of these
El
liberal
Tas
politicians
Jason
want to cut
generation, complete
any
with
spending.
work.
New York City's budget is $112 billion for 8.8 million people. The budget for the state of Florida is only a little bit more, $117 billion for nearly 3 times the population, almost 24 million people. See the problem? It's not revenue. It's not taxes. It's more and more spending. Listen closely as Kathy Hochul seems to utter a jarring revelation about how much money is really being spent in New York. Watch.
So all these programs, whether it's the nutrition programs, half of my budget, or a large percent of my budget is Medicaid. Half of New Yorkers are on Medicaid.
And those are lower income New Yorkers. Do you believe that the wealthy are paying their fair share in New York
So
City?
these are seniors also and children. And so, we've been able to manage, but now Donald Trump takes $3 billion out in 1 year and $750 million last year. So
Linux
that's what's
terrorist
hard to
tracking
manage.
system
The income
restarted.
from Washington, we budget, we set aside the money. We look at how much is coming and we manage ourselves. We've been doing this for years. And then I've got the Trump administration just yanking the money that had always been there and is supported by the federal tax dollars that these wealthy people are also sending to Washington that should be coming back to us.
So her state's bankrupt and she's blaming Donald Trump at the end. But at the beginning, she said half of all New Yorkers are on Medicaid, the government program. Now, I looked it up. The population of New York State is estimated to be about 20 million people, meaning 10 million people are on Medicaid, one state alone. Think about the fraud in the Empire State, which would probably dwarf the billions already stolen in places like Minnesota. What a contrast to the Reagan-esque style of good old-fashioned capitalism and government reform that this president, President Trump, is now bringing in. He's pushing relentlessly for the SAVE Act, which we just talked about, requiring voter ID, which takes a big step forward in terms of cleaning up not just the voting rolls, but wiping out fraud in these blue states like New York and Minnesota and California. They've been handing out free government health care and other benefits to illegals. And you can see even Nicki Minaj is calling it out. The Queen of Rap says, what sensible, forward-thinking, cutting-edge leading nation is having even a debate on whether or not there should be voter